This is Tom Fox. I'd like to welcome you to the newest addition to the Compliance Podcast Network, the Compliance Tip of the Day. This is the podcast where you bring you daily insights and practical advice on navigating the ever-evolving landscape of compliance requirements. Whether you're a seasoned compliance professional or just starting your journey, my aim in this podcast is to provide you with a bite-sized, actionable tip to help you stay on top of your compliance game. Join us as we explore the latest trends from the Department of Justice, share some best practices, demystify complex compliance issues to help keep your organization doing business ethically and in compliance, and at the end of the day, more profitably. Tune in daily for your dose of compliance wisdom. Let's make compliance a little less daunting, one tip at a time. Now a word from the sponsor of the Compliance Podcast Network, Ethico.
In compliance, the value of anonymous reporting is undeniable. But with Ethico, anonymity doesn't mean a loss of connection. Our blinded, two-way communication fosters an environment of trust and confidentiality, encouraging open and honest dialogue. It's not just about receiving reports. It's about understanding the story behind each one, creating a culture of integrity and respect. Transform your approach to anonymous reporting with Ethico. Begin your journey at ethico.com/CPN, where you can book a demo, access an exclusive white paper by Tom Fox titled The ROI of Compliance, and utilize our free ROI calculator.
We begin our compliance tip of the day with a nod of the hat to the clash, because at some point you are going to have to decide whether you should stay or whether you should go. At the most basic level, the initial decision a company must make is to determine a strategy, then begin to execute on that strategy is whether to get involved. Business leaders must decide whether the issue requires further attention or possibly action or possibly doing nothing. Is it serious enough to warrant divesting operations and or possibly leaving the country? If not, what options are available to you? The caution that this calculus is not always straightforward, nor is flight always the most appropriate action, because pulling out of a country can not only seriously injure or at least impact your bottom line, but it can also harm the communities in which it operates, such as by eliminating local jobs and ending pro-social initiatives that the company has taken. However, in the event that an organization makes the choice to continue operating and to work to address systemic human rights abuses within its environment, you'll need to develop a nuanced strategy and be very deliberate with whom you interact. The bottom line is each one of these steps has a different calculus to make. If you look at the decision companies made in Russia, certainly after Russian invasion of Ukraine, you see how this plays out in public. Some companies were absolutely skewered for their failures to leave Russia. And even as recently as February of this year, turns out Avon is still doing business in Russia. And they tried to claim that they didn't want to let go of the competent workforce and force them to not obtain the income that they would generate from door-to-door sales in Russia. Some 2 years after the Russian invasion, there's really no excuse for this. But even if you look at more traditional human rights abuses, such as the Uyghur forced labor situation, you see that some companies are not moving out. As you know, this month's sponsor of the Compliance Podcast Network, including this podcast, is Ethico. Have you ever wondered about the ROI of your compliance program or had concerns with presenting budget proposals to your CFO? Well, I partnered with Ethico to write a white paper on the ROI of compliance and how you can think through compliance as an investment strategy. Ethico has put together a ROI calculator for you. Check them out on the website. This is Tom Fox again. This new podcast, Compliance Tip of the Day, will appear daily. And frankly, it's one of the most requested topics for a podcast that I get on a regular basis. It's going to be short and sweet with one tip with some takeaways that you can utilize to implement into your compliance program. If you've got a question that you would like a tip on, please submit them through our website, and we will use them in an upcoming episode. The Compliance Tip of the Day is a production of the award-winning Compliance Podcast Network.